Hey everybody, what is going on? I hope everybody is having a good day. Today, y'all, we got a lot in store. I'm so excited about this live stream. We got Sledge from the Sledge Inc. team. I'm so glad to have him on the channel, Mr. Do Your Research himself, aka Mr. American Express. He got about 50 American Express, y'all. So we are going to talk about it. I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody has gotten off to a good start. And let me know who's all in the chat. So, once you get in the chat, just let me know. We already got Arno. What's up, Arno? I'm so glad that you were able to join the live stream today. And so when you come in, just let us know where you are from and we will get started. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on this amazing guest. So we got Sledge from the Sledge Inc. team. Let's go. All
What
right,
is up? What
what's
is
up?
up? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. I'm so glad, to have you on the channel. This has been a long time coming. I just really appreciate you. It started with, in the chat, just getting to know. And then I was actually able to meet you. And then I've been on your channel probably 2 times. So, it was only a matter of time before you were going to come on to the channel.
For sure, for sure. I've been waiting to get over here, see your
Yes.
audience and all of that. Yeah,
Yes.
man, we're gonna have fun tonight.
Yes, we're gonna have so much fun because you are Mr. Do Your Research. And we're gonna talk about American Express. We're gonna talk about a whole lot of other things, but I do want to kind of get started. One, just tell us about your channel and where we can find you.
Oh man. The channel was Sledging Team. I am your boy Sledge. I talk a lot about a lot of different credit cards, ways to get approved for credit cards. I'll run down a lot of the rules from different credit card issuers and how to get around some of the rules. Some of what some people may call hacks, to take advantage of the banks instead of the banks taking advantage of us, without doing anything illegal or breaking any of their rules. It's all based off their rules. But my channel is basically off of my own personal experience. Right now, I have 39 credit cards. The most I've ever had at one time was 40. That's because I just canceled a card recently. But
Wow.
yeah, I'm ready to have some fun tonight.
Dang, you don't have 40 credit cards. You just cancel one. What credit card did you cancel?
I canceled a business goal. I probably had over 60, but
Mm-hmm.
active at one time 40 was my max.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh my God. I only got 14 credit cards, but I probably done had more than that. Now let me ask you, when you say you don't had 50 credit cards or 60 credit cards, do you mean like regular bank credit cards and retail cards, like credit cards, charge cards, and retail cards? Do you lump those all in together?
No, I don't count the retail cards, but what I mean is I've canceled a considerable amount of
Mm-hmm.
cards.
Yeah.
I've upgraded to different cards. I've downgraded to different cards. So between all of those, on top of the 39 that I have right now, I couldn't tell you exactly where it is, but it's somewhere around 60.
Okay, wow. Okay, yeah, because usually when I say that I have 14 credit cards, I'm not talking about retail cards. But I know like when
Right.
I first got started, oh my, that's how I was getting all the retail credit cards, JC Penney's, Zales, Dillard's, and everybody. So I want to shout out to some people in the chat. I want to shout out Before the Billions, y'all. I had Before the Billions on a few weeks ago, and he really dropped a whole lot of knowledge on that video. So make sure you see if you can get over to his channel, Before the Billions. If you want to put your channel in the chat, please go ahead. Additionally, I want to shout out to Bourbon Bubblegum. How are you doing? And Brian Carter, how are you doing as well? Now, what are you drinking today, Sledge?
Oh man, we having a little bit of Evans Williams 1783.
Okay,
You know,
I see you.
Yeah, all we do is bourbon and whiskey,
Okay.
Scotch, bourbon, whiskey. That's it.
Scotch, bourbon, and
Yeah.
whiskey. All right. And I got to shout out my girl Key from Kiki Adventures. What's up, Key? How are you doing? And we got Joe Barreto. What's up, Joe? I was going to say it, but I didn't. All right. So I want to go ahead and get started. And one, you stated that you have 39 credit cards. Of those 39 credit cards, how many of those are American Express?
Right now, 10. I believe I've had 20 over time, 20 American Express cards. Yeah, I think
Wow.
I've had 20 over time. Right now, I have 10. Like I said, I just canceled the American Express Business Gold card.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that card. The only thing is, I initially got the card just for the sign up bonus, but as time went on, like I actually used the card, you
Okay.
know, but that $375 dollar annual fee on top of what I was already paying, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing with me canceling some of these cards,
Yeah.
because at one point, well, I'm still not far away from it, but at one point I was at just over $3,600 in annual fee, so
Oh my.
it was
You
time to
was
cut down
over
some. Yeah,
3,600 of
yeah.
annual fees. Sledge. Oh my goodness. I
Now,
can't even
wait a minute. You
believe
got
it.
to keep in mind one thing though,
Mm-hmm.
because my American Express Platinum card, unlike most people who are paying $695 for that card who have
Okay.
it,
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 authorized users on there: my wife and my 2 youngest kids.
Okay.
So that alone is $1,280.
You know
You
what?
know,
I want to get
yeah.
into that. I do want to get into that in a little bit, but I want to shout out a few more people that just came in. So I want to shout out to Lonnie. What's up, Lonnie? Happy New Year and Happy New Year to everybody that has joined the chat. And Philmo, what's up, Philmo? How are you doing? And Gene, what up, Gene? Where you been, man? Happy New Year to you. I'm so glad that you were able to join the live stream today. So, Sledge, you were stating that sometimes, well, you had applied for their American Express Business Gold Card because of it had a good bonus on it, and then you started using it, and you was actually really liking it, but you recently closed it. You know what? I feel like that's kind of what happened with me with the American Express Gold Card because one, you already know I'm not a fan of no annual fee, but that 250. But it's like, how can you like a card but hate on a card at the same time? I really don't know. And so it's like I like it, but I don't know that I'm gonna hold on to it past year 3, and we'll get into that a little bit. But talk to me about what's the longest American Express that you've had.
Wow. I think the longest that I've had is, it's either the platinum or the Blue Business Plus.
Okay, the
I know I
platinum.
got them around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I got both of them in 2020.
Okay.
So yeah, I got them around the same time. I'm not really sure which one I got first. I think I got the Blue Business Plus first.
Okay. So let
Yeah,
me
I think
ask
I
you this, especially with you having so many 10 American Expresses, right now?
got
When
right.
you having so many American Expresses, how do you not get into American Express jail? So where you're not, that where you're getting the offers. Are you getting the bonus offers every single time?
Yeah, see, the thing is, I think with American Express is, American Express don't want you to apply for a card and then move on to another card. You know what I'm saying? You hit the sign up bonus, you take the American Express, throw it in the drawer, and you don't think about it again. Or it's in your wallet, you don't use it. American Express wants you to be their primary, I'm saying, their primary credit card issuer, so,
Mhm.
or bank. So I use my American Express cards more than I use any other cards.
Really?
And although some may not get as much love as others, I'm still using the American Express cards throughout the year. And I'm putting I won't say a significant, because it's people that put way more spend than I do on it,
Mm-hmm.
but I put a decent amount of spend on my card. So
Okay.
I just think that as long as I'm putting money on those cards and I feel like a profitable customer to them, then they
Mm-hmm.
happy with it. So
Dang, you know what? You stepping on my toes over here because look, I have three American Express. So I have the American Express every day. Then I have the American Express Gold card, and then I have the American Express Blue Business Cash card. And then, well, actually, I have four. And then I have the Hilton Honor Surpass. But I can tell you, so it's just like one. I don't even use my everyday card no more. But since that one don't have an annual fee, I'm not really,
Right.
worried about it. But I'm not really using that card. And then for the like I've been using the Hilton Honor Surpass. I've been tearing that one up. So that's really I've been putting all my spin on it. So I really haven't put no spin on my American Express Gold card. And so I really feel you where you're saying, like cause me, I'm gonna be chasing the bonuses.
Right.
And so I have 14 credit cards, and I was just thinking the other day, man, I probably haven't used my Chase Sapphire Preferred card in months. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I will, put a card and I won't even really think about it. Or, I'll try to put at least, like a couple of charges on there, but it's not really amounting to anything. So I think that that's pretty amazing that you have been able to get all the bonuses for the American Express cards, compared to me. But can you tell us, especially with you having so many American Express cards, how are you using those to really be able to travel? Because from where I'm thinking, you're using a lot of your points and things for travel. And so how does you having all of those American Express cards, how does that really help you to be able to do that?
You know what? Because I have the American Express card that I have, it's kind of like a science to it. Um, I use all the cards that earn MR points for the people that think I'm speaking a foreign language. It's membership reward points.
Yep.
That it's just the points that with American Express card their points. I use most of those points when I want to transfer to a different airline to fly. But I also have American Express Hilton card.
Okay.
I have the Hilton Business along with the Hilton Aspire.
Hmm.
And Hilton Build is another card. It's another one of those cards. Like I
Yeah.
really like the card, but at some point it gotta go. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be one of them cards that gotta
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
But the card gets five Hilton points per dollar on everything. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like no matter what you buy, it's 5 points per dollar, which is so it's a good card. But the thing is, that card went from being $95 annual fee, 99 or 95, to $199. So $100 annual fee jump is a significant jump, for a
Mm-hmm.
card. And on top of that, at one time, just like the Hilton Aspire, you could spend $15,000 on that card and get a free night certificate. Well, they took that away, so although you get the 5 points per dollar on all purchases, the card just
Mm-hmm.
isn't as worth it for me anymore. But yeah, I use my American Express because I also have a Marriott card. I'm not
Mm.
loyal to a company, right? So I'm
Okay.
not. It's not
Yeah.
that I'm loyal to American Express. They just
Mm-hmm.
have so many options for me to do things with their points.
Okay.
So that's how I spend my money through a vast amount of issuers and a,
Yep.
a vast amount of hotel chains and
Mm-hmm.
airlines. Because, like I say, I'm not loyal to any of these businesses, but I will
Okay.
take a discounted rate flight because I can't say free. Like I'm never gonna say free, but
Okay.
I will
You're
take
not
a
gonna say
discounted
free.
rate
Okay.
flight or a hotel anywhere.
Mm-hmm. All right. I want to give a shout out to a few people in the chat. So I want to say what's up to Lisa at J Stocks. What's up? I'm so glad that you were able to join. And your favorite couple is in the building. Thank you so much for joining. And then also we have Caesar. What's up, Caesar? Thank you so much for joining. And we have Vince 3T Lawson, and we're gonna get to his question a little bit. And then we have that girl Shine, and she is new to American Express and have the American Express Go card and is looking to get high limits. And so I do believe that you had a video where you were talking about, getting the higher limits on the credit cards, especially for American Express. Can you talk about how we can get those higher limits from American Express?
Oh, absolutely. The first thing I'm gonna say is don't worry about chasing the high limits. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about chasing the high limits. Just manage your credit wisely. Uh, Pay those things off. Keep your utilization down, and over time that will come. But with American Express, after you have one card for 90 days, on that 91st day, you can request a credit limit increase 3 times whatever your current credit limit is. So if they gave you $5,000 in 91 days, you can request a credit limit increase to $15,000. So it's that's just the way American Express is, and a lot of time American Express aren't gonna give you crazy high credit limits. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Especially on their credit cards. You
right.
know,
Yeah,
but
I'll say, because like with when I had got the American Express Hilton on a Surpass, I was like, dang, they had only approved me for $4,000, and then maybe after I had the car, maybe like 8 months or so, it could be between 6 and 8 months, they ended up just giving me a credit line increase for 5,000. So now I'm up to 9,000 for that one. So I was pretty excited about that. But I'm kind of like you, to where it really depends. Like, I do like the high limits, and most of the time I could get high limits. But let me know if you feel like, it seems like when I apply for a lot of credit cards around the same time, like if I apply for 2 credit cards at the same time, or if I'm applying, let's say 3 credit cards in like a 2 month span, I feel like my credit limits are a little bit lower compared to if I wait a little bit longer and I'm only applying for that one. Usually I can get a little bit of a higher limit. Do you kind of see it like that?
you know what? For me, I feel like when I apply for cards really close, I feel like they give me limits that are very similar to each other.
Okay, yeah,
You
that's
know,
true. That's true. Mm-hmm.
if you get 20K on one, you might get 19.5 on another one,
Mm-hmm.
17,000.
Yeah.
If you get 8,000, the other one may give you 10, 12. They kind of keep them close for whatever reason. I don't know. But, they can see, what other issuers are giving you. So,
But even if you do it, even if you apply for 2 credit cards at the same day, you think?
yeah. I applied for the U.S. Bank Altitude Gold and
Mm-hmm.
City AA Executive Card, maybe 2 minutes apart,
Yeah.
right? Maybe 2 minutes apart. I think City gave me 14,000, and U.S. Bank gave me 11. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it was pretty. It's three thousand
Mm-hmm.
dollars different, but it's
Yeah.
still pretty close.
Yeah, because see,
So,
when I had applied for the Hilton on the Surpass, I had applied for 2 credit cards, basically like a minute apart. So I applied for that one, and then I had applied for the City Platinum card, and my Hilton Honor Surpass. They approved me for 4,000, and then my City Platinum, they approved me for 4,100. So,
I feel like they just look at what the other issuer gave you, and it's somewhere close to it. Yeah.
yeah. Well, let me I want to bring up Vince's question. So Vince Lawson said, question to the panel. I've asked Sledge before, but after watching David R, what do you think is the middle ground for using credit responsibly versus no credit? Is it hard to understand his logic? Now, I'm not for sure Dave R, but
Dave Ramsey.
using, oh, okay. Using, what do you think about, is there a middle ground between using credit responsibly and no credit?
Yeah, because I believe I don't believe David Ramsey never used credit.
Oh, he's talking about Dave Ramsey. Okay, okay.
Right,
Because I
right,
was
yeah,
like,
David
yeah.
Ramsey.
Okay, okay. My bad.
You
Oh,
know,
y'all gotta forgive me.
and
Okay, go
I
ahead.
think,
Sorry.
and I understand Dave Ramsey because he's 100% right. Most people don't use credit responsibly. You know what I'm saying? I was that person at one time, right? Most
Yeah, me
people
too.
don't use credit responsibly. That's just what it is. We wouldn't have what 1.4 $1 trillion in credit card debt if
Right.
most people use credit responsibly. But if you're going to use credit, there is a middle ground. You have to know what you can manage, just know what you can manage, and don't go beyond that point. Take Tasha just bounced on us.
I'm
Take
here.
take the amount of credit cards that you can manage and don't go beyond that point. The whole point of managing credit responsibly is not paying interest to the bank.
That's it right there.
You know, don't spend more money than you have. And I know it can be hard. Like
Mm-hmm.
it can be hard because it appears that it's extra money when it isn't.
Yeah.
You look
Yeah.
at your bank account, you see what your credit limits are. You
Mm-hmm.
don't go above what you have in your bank account minus what you have a responsibility of, meaning all of your bills and anything else that you have to pay for. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a
Yeah.
middle ground, but it's all about using credit responsibly.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to respond to that because I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, so I know all about Dave Ramsey. I have done his financial freedom, and I do think that there is a middle ground, but I can tell you that I don't think if I never went through the Dave Ramsey that I would be where I'm at now, to where I have 14 credit cards. I haven't paid interest on credit cards and probably, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 or more years. But I'm one of those people to where, especially like when I was in college and even after college, like, man, I was paying for trips. That's what I'm saying. When I was in college, I had all of the retail credit cards. And so I was maxing them out. I was using credit cards all the time. But I do feel like once I had went through financial peace, the thing is, it really gets down to the psychology of, since I had to cut those credit cards, and I was one to where I really couldn't use cash, do the envelopes. So for me, I'm always going to figure out how I can do something to benefit, what I'm doing. Cause I feel like you have to figure it out for yourself. And so I ended up starting to do with my debit card. And so I just used my debit card for everything. And then it was probably maybe like a few years to where I didn't use credit cards. And then one day I was like, you know what? I actually think I can do this. And so I started using my credit cards again. And then once I did it that time, like, I don't have any problem. But me, I'm going to say, I make sure to do my budget every month. Like, you got to know how much money you have coming in compared to going out. And then, I use my credit cards for pretty much everything. And then I just pay the credit card off. You see what I'm saying? But I think you really have to understand your why, because if we're like right now, we're at a high for interest rates. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? Like, the interest rates are so high, like, I would not want to be paying
Yeah,
30% on, stuff. Well,
yeah,
then I could be using that 30% to go on a trip, you know what I'm saying?
right.
Or do something else. So I just think that it is a balance. And you
Yeah,
just kind of have to start off small, maybe to where maybe you're not using the credit cards. But so I love his practices, but I'm gonna always use credit cards
right.
because I like to be able to use the credit cards to go on trips and stuff like that. So just like you were saying, it doesn't mean that it's free because you're using your money, but on the same hand, you're gonna be spending that money anyway, but I'm not paying interest on that money. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, and I'm trying to get like you to where I'm getting those, business class trips and those real nice hotels, with the credit cards like you do. But that's what I'll say in regards to credit cards and use them responsibly.
And you know what? The thing, like I'm going to piggyback off what you said about the interest rate. A lot of these interest rates, I mean, they take 29, 26 to 29.99, and some of them break 30. And if you putting thousands of dollars on a credit card, it's easy for that to get out of control. You know, 30% on a couple thousand,
Yeah.
and if you're not paying off the full amount right then, it's
Mm-hmm.
easy for that to snowball into something that is gonna get out of control. And
Real
what's
quick.
gonna happen is either you go just stop paying it, or you just gonna be paying way too much for for something. So the
Mhm.
best thing is, like I say, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Don't put it on a credit card.
But let me ask you this, especially with interest rates so high, because I was reading an article where Bernie Sanders was saying that Trump, because he was saying during his, when he was running, that he wanted to put a cap on
Yeah,
interest rates, 10%. And I put
right.
up because another one came out, I want to say yesterday, and I was reading the article. What do you think about putting a cap on interest rates? And let us know in the comments, what do you think about putting a cap on interest rates? Whose responsibility is it? Is it my responsibility? Is it the car issuer responsibility? What do you think?
I'm gonna tell you because I love Bernie, like I do. I love Bernie. They're not gonna put a cap on
Yeah.
it. Like these guys spend so much money lobbying politicians on both sides, right? So this is not a political thing. They lobby on both sides. These banks spend so much money doing it. They're not gonna put a cap on it. 10%
Hmm.
would be amazing. And the reason I say, we as individuals need to be responsible. But if you
Hmm.
think about the amount of interest that credit card
Yeah.
issuers have, man, is like beyond what a loan sharking. You know what I mean? Like it should be illegal at this point how much that they charge in interest.
When all them
So
payday
having a
loans,
cap
they
on it
still
would
be
be
high.
great, but nah, they won't do it.
Yeah, I don't
They-
think that they would do it. But it's just like, with people have, like you said, credit card debt is what, 1.4 to 1.7 trillion.
Trillion,
And, I don't know. It's if they would cap it, but it's just like then we would end up going up to three trillion in credit cards, because then people would not take the responsibility. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think that, even though I love credit cards, I don't even think I would say that they should do that.
right?
And then let me see. Vince had another question. I work hard to get an American Express charge card to help with my um
Utilization.
utilization being under 5% and a 740 credit score. I can't understand how zero credit score would help. And so I guess he's talking more so about, Dave Ramsey. But I think, even with Dave Ramsey, he's going to say that you don't need credit to do things. You see what I'm
How?
saying? So yeah,
Unless,
he's going to say you don't need to credit to do things.
I
But
mean,
because I would say, even like, when I had got my car, and I got
right,
my car with Navy Federal, and I was able to get a 2.9% interest rate. But the thing is, I still did paid it off responsibly. But even
right,
though originally I had got it for, I want to say 5 years, the loan, and then I said, you know what, I'm gonna pay it off in 3. And I ended up paying it off in a year, and I didn't even pay with the interest. I only ended up paying less than a full car payment. You see what I'm saying? So it really depends on each person. So I don't think credit is bad. I just think that we have to figure out a way. I think there's a middle ground to be able to use credit responsibly. And that's what I want my channel for us to talk about. And I feel like that's what you show on your channel, to where, like, I don't have credit card debt. I don't think you have any credit card, so we have a lot of content creators that don't have credit card debt, and we use credit. You got 40, 50 credit cards. You know what I'm saying?
Uh, you know what the thing about it? You think about what you just said. What you say? You said a 2.89 interest rate.
2.19. Yeah, I had
Two point right,
2.19%.
2.19. The
Yeah.
thing is, without a credit score, you're not getting a 2.1. You're not getting a 2.19. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah.
need you need credit. Like if you plan on buying things, unless you just have the income to buy
You gotta have
everything cash.
income. That's the
You
thing.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can buy your house cash, you can buy your car cash. If you can do all of that stuff, great. Other than that, you need credit. You need a credit score in order to be able to do these things. And the better the credit score, the less you pay.
Yeah,
So
better credit score to let you pay. Now, this is a great question from Desert Ryder. He said, I tried to apply for a Chase card 2 times within 2 minutes. One Amazon and then a Southwest card, and got denied. Why would you think that he would get denied? Because in my opinion, you think if you apply for a credit card two, like a seconds apart, you think you'll have a high probability of getting approved. Why would you think that
well,
he would get denied?
Well, they was both. First of all, they was both from the same issuer.
Oh yes,
Uh,
that's it right there.
you know,
That's it.
that's
That's
a,
it.
the thing with now. I don't see. I got to know the full story.
Mm,
Chase is a stickler about that 524 rule. You got more
yeah.
than 5 cars in
Mm-hmm.
2 years, then yeah, they definitely go decline you off top.
Yeah.
The reason that you can still get it approved for the Amazon card is because they don't play by Chase rules. When they
Mm,
when they negotiated their contract with Chase, they're not part of the 524 rule. So even if you're over that limit, you can still get the Chase Amazon Prime card. So I can understand why they did it. Chase is I mean, you know how I feel about that rule, Tasha.
yeah,
524
that's what
rule
I'm
is the
shooting
worst,
for.
it's the worst
You know
rule
what? And this is what I'm gonna
anything
say
I'll say.
about this. Is what I'm gonna say about Chase. They really, I'm just like Chase. They want to be so stingy sometimes, and then they don't want to approve you. But then most of the time, if you call them, to me, they'll approve you. So if you call the reconsideration line, either they'll approve you, or if they deny you, they'll just go ahead and approve you. Because that's how they did me when I got the Chase card. It's like they denied me, but then they had took 5,000 from one of my other. Because I want to say at that time I had 4 Chase cards, and I'm just
Right.
like, Chase, like, come on, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, that's crazy. I want to give a shout out to one, thank you, Desert Raider, for
Raider.
your question. And then we have Chad in the building. What up, Chad? How are you doing? You know what? I gotta get Chad on the channel because Chad, he has, and I gotta get Lisa on the channel as well. And then Caesar said, Tasha, are you coming to Puerto Rico? Look, when you said it the first time, I'm already there. Like, seriously, Caesar, my mind is already there right now. I love Puerto Rico. I'm probably gonna be there before, maybe like a few days before, because I love me some Puerto Rico. So you better believe I'm gonna be there.
You know what? It looked like everybody coming in on the 6th.
Okay, that Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I'll probably be coming in on the 6th as well. I want to shout out to Mike Newland. Hello, how are you doing? And we got John R. What up, John? How are you doing? And thank you so much for the super chat. So he says, I'm late, but I'm here. You're never late. When you come, you come. Thank you so much for your support and for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that.
Hey, let me give John a quick shout out, man. John just got John just got monetized. So yeah, I just joined the
Okay.
membership to his channel today. So yeah,
Oh,
y'all
that
don't
is
know
so
John
cool.
Hard Travel, man. Go ahead and subscribe to the bro.
That is amazing. Yes. John and any of the other creators that are in here, please share your channels in the chat. I don't mind you doing it at all because you guys, there is so much information out there, and we have really good content creators. And so I want to give a shout out to that girl Shine for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. What's the best way to get high limits with the American Express Gold Card right now at 20K? What would you say, especially for the American Express Gold Card? Because I would say that would be a little bit different. What would you say are some ways to get high limits on that card?
Okay, I'm going to same. This is going to be a similar answer to what I said before. Don't worry about the limit on that card, right?
Yeah.
It's a charge card.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you need to make a purchase over 20K and 20K is your pay over time limit, the pay over time limit is not your credit limit. It's not your credit limit. It could be higher than that. It
Yeah,
probably
it
is.
can.
It
You're
probably
right.
is. It probably is much higher than that. Now you don't want to keep testing to the pay over time button to see what it is, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably more than that. And if you get into a situation to where you think you need to spend more than 20K, call American Express, let them know what's up. And more than likely, American Express customer service will take care of you and let you make that purchase. On any American Express charge card, don't worry about the credit limit on.
Don't worry about a credit limit.
No, no, those
Yeah.
these are charge cards we're talking about. There's really
Yeah. Charge
pretty
cards.
much
Yeah.
credit limit on.
Yeah.
The spending limit fluctuates.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you don't spend, the thing is, if you don't spend on it now, you're not spending. That spending limit could be less than the
Yeah.
20K now. So
But look
yeah,
though,
you
but
got to
I'll
put money
tell
on
you, my spending
that.
limit is 40K, and I don't be spending nowhere near that
You know,
amount
put
on
no money on
mine.
there, yeah.
You know what I'm
But yeah,
saying?
you just
But
have to. Just I wouldn't worry about the spending limit on a charge card. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because it's like
yeah,
most of
American
the
Express
time.
need that money back the next month, so they don't care at that point. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Now, if somebody is just starting out, which American Express card would you start with? You tell yours, then I'm gonna tell you.
See, it's different for me because when I started out, I think the everyday was a good option as a
Yeah.
starter, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But the everyday is not a thing anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like they got rid of the everyday. So, oh, man, that's hard. That's kind of hard, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. I think because the way I envision things is I don't know somebody's personal situation.
Yeah. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say too.
I don't know somebody's personal situation. A lot of creators would tell you to start with no annual fee cards
That's what
because
I
you
was
can get
saying.
the foundation. I'm
Yeah.
not one of those people,
You
right?
just
Like
go right to the.
you go right to whatever you can afford and manage. Whatever best fits your lifestyle, that's the card you pick. Because I
Yeah.
can tell you a card, I can tell you a travel card, and you might not travel. I can tell you a card that gives more points for food, for restaurants, and you might not be the dining out type. You know what I mean? So I just say get whatever card, read up on these cards, do your research on them, and pick the card that's best for you. Don't let anybody on the other side of the screen tell you what card is right for you. We can tell you the benefits and perks of them and what we do with them, but they can't. They don't know you. So yeah,
Right.
pick
Right. Yeah.
whichever works best for you.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Because let's say if somebody goes to the grocery store and that's all they do is go to the grocery store. But then, like me, I like to dine. So it's just like we're not lining up to what we really like, the categories that we want. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to figure out, your spending. And so I think that that is, a great point. And then, too, look, you already know I'm going to say no annual fee because I'm not going to ever tell anybody to do anything I'm not going to do. So I'm not going to tell you get no platinum credit card with no $6.95 annual fee on there, but you have to take a look at the credit cards. And then let's say you're trying to go on a trip and
No, they're
you want to
not.
get you some let's say you can get the airline points or something like that. So maybe you want to get that one. But I wanted to kind of go back because I know you said that you had the Marriott, you have the Hilton Honor Aspire. Do you prefer to have an airline card or a hotel card?
You know what's funny? I never thought I would get an airline card.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew I would get hotel cards. Right? I never thought I'd get because to be totally honest with you, most airline cards, the multipliers on them things trash. Like 99% of airline cards, the
Oh
multipliers are trash. Um, you get airline cards for free check bags, because if you travel a decent amount of time and you have a $95 annual fee or $100 annual fee for an airline card, that's no big deal. You know how much it costs to check bags at an airport?
yeah.
You
Oh my
make that
goodness.
back in one trip, like you make that back in one trip, and you somebody who check your luggage. I'm that person. I don't carry luggage around the airport. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't care how small the suitcase is. I'm not carrying it around the airport.
Oh, okay. Even a carry on.
Oh, I carry a book bag.
Okay,
Like
you
I
carry a
carry a
book
book
bag,
bag if I
but
need to
not
carry
a
on.
carry
Right.
on.
Yeah, but
Ah.
the little suitcase that you put up
Mm-hmm.
top. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
that person. No, I check that thing. I'm not carrying nothing around with me when I'm walking through the airport. So yeah, but
Except for your backpack. Okay.
the backpack,
I'll
the
do
only
a
thing
carry
that's going
on.
with me. Yeah,
I'll do a
if it
carry
can't go under my
on.
feet, I'm not carrying it. But yeah,
Yeah.
but like I say, or you get a high end airline card that's gonna give you lounge access, or something like that. So you either go get either one or the other. Now, the one thing I want to say that you said about not having annual fee cards.
Hmm.
The thing people don't realize, I won't say they don't realize, they look at the cost of these cards and say, for instance, we talking about, I don't know,
American Express Gold Card.
okay, I'll say the gold card, right? So that's what 300 and 350, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or 350, okay, 350. So we talking about for an entire year though. You know what I'm saying? Like we not. It's not like it's not like you paying $350 every month for the card. We're talking about for an entire year. So even the higher annual fee card, you still talking about for an entire year. So and then you have your choice next year whether you want to re up the card or not. So
But you know what? I want to talk about this real quick, and then we're gonna get into Navy Federal because we had some questions about Navy Federal. But I want to say shout out to King for joining the chat. What up, Point Blank Travel? How are you doing? I'm so glad to have you. And my sisters in the chat. What up, Nikki? How are you doing? So glad that you were able to join. So Sledge. And I want to shout out to You Loves to Motivate. Thank you so much. Happy New Year and Happy New Year to everybody that has joined. So you were talking about, because the thing is, okay, with the American Express Gold Card, it's what, 325, 350 right now. And then what you saying, okay, it ain't like you paying $350, 325 one time. But the thing is, and even when I'm thinking with the American Express Gold Card, because it's like, I love to hate that card, but it's just like now, because they have added more credits, because now they got the Resi credit, so you can get $100, so $50 quarterly, annually, well, two times a year. And then now they added the what is it, not Starbucks,
but
but
Dunkin' Donuts.
they added Dunkin' Donuts, and then they have the Uber credit and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, if it's not within your natural spending, so let's say for me, I had applied for it because it had that 90K membership reward points, and I couldn't get off of that. You know what I'm saying? But then now they have added some other credits. It's just like, I had used my Resi credit the other day, and I'm just like, let me tell you this story right quick, how they got me. Let me tell you how they got me right quick. So, it's the end of the year, and I'm trying to use my credit because, they had the $50 credit. So then, for one, with the Resi, credit, it's not that many restaurants that's even in it. You see what I'm saying? That you naturally going to go to. But I say, you know what? This would be my chance to go to a restaurant that I haven't went to, check it out, right?
Right.
So I found this restaurant, and so Sunday I had went. Well, for one, I didn't even consider that it was going to be downtown. So this how they got me, y'all. I had got almost all the way down there. I'm like, you know what? The parking is I'm gonna have to pay for parking. So this is the thing. My food ended up being $42. And why I have to pay $30 to park?
That's crazy.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, on the one hand, it was on a Sunday anyway. I would have went to the Mexican restaurant. You see what I'm saying? So I ended up paying $30, to park, even though I got my $42 meal. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, oh, I was so mad about it.
That's a one-time thing. I'd have been to mad Resi restaurants. I ain't never had to pay the
Thank you, man. Listen, I'm like, out of all the restaurants, I went and picked the restaurant that I had to pay the park.
Now I get and I don't like, it's one of the credits I don't like. It's a $10 Resi credit every month with my Delta Platinum card.
Okay.
But what I do with that card is I stack that $10 every single month on the same card. So when I put $10 on it this month, I'm gonna be at $120 on there. Yeah. So when I decide to cash out, I can go to this restaurant because it's a restaurant. Like, it's not that I frequent a restaurant, but I like the restaurant. I've been there before.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And in my area, there's quite a few Resi restaurants.
Okay.
But just so happened, this one particular one that I like to go to is on there. So
yeah, I was trying to find restaurants that I had been to, and I had been hearing about, and it really wasn't even all that either. I was just like, hey man, they got me on that one, and so I was kind of disappointed. And I called my sister. I was telling my sister about it. I'm like, girl, that ain't even right.
Man, that's crazy. $30 a park, man. These parking will be killing you, bro. They do.
I wasn't even there. I was barely there an hour. I was just over it a little bit for an hour. I was just like, that's cold-blooded right there.
$30 a park.
But I want to say thank you so much, Chad, for the 9.99 super chat, and happy new year to you and your family as well.
My dog.
Okay, so I want to get into, yeah, man, we got some good questions because we got some PN Fed Pathfinder, but I want to go up to
Tasha, I don't know if this only gonna be an hour. The chat
I
look
know,
like they
man.
involved.
Dang, that's what I'm saying. The chat, man. I love it. Y'all, we said we was gonna go an hour, but we might go a little bit longer. Okay, so Tasha Sledge, any updates on the credit line increases, gems, or hacks with the Navy Federal after they changed their 8K? Any do you know
Yeah.
anything?
I don't know. You know what's funny is because I get some information from the chat as well. I didn't even know that they changed the way that you
Yeah.
do credit limit increases. To
Yes.
somebody
That's
in the comment
crazy.
section told me about it, and I
The
went and checked.
same.
Right, because at this point I'm at 80K with Navy Federal, so I'm not looking for credit limit increases.
Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
so I go back and look, and it's like you can request a credit limit increase, but you can't request an amount now.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, it's up to them. But you know that's like a lot of other, you know what I'm saying, banks that do it that way. You know, you just go there and it's a gamble on it. As long as you know, I just look at it like this. As long as they ain't pulling your credit to do it, you don't really got nothing to lose.
Right, right.
You know, like really, you don't have nothing to lose. If they give you 5,000, they give you 5,000. You know, they give you 15,000 and they give
Yeah.
you 15,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all that. At the end of the day, we got to look at it like this. Anytime they give you more money, it's a risk to the bank. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying? And they
yep.
have to
It's
manage their
unsecured debt.
risk.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
unsecured. Yeah.
yeah,
And so that's where I think it has to, really think of it. And it really just depends because it's like, of course, I like to get the high limits because it's just like before I would always get, like 10, 12, 15K, you know what I'm saying? But then now, like when I had applied coming up on a year, they only gave me 4,041. I'm like, dang, what is that? But on the same hand, I was just chasing the bonus anyway. So really it didn't
right,
matter to me because all I wanted was the bonus. I didn't really care
right.
for the credit limit. So I think that you really have to figure out what's your strategy. Are you just chasing the bonus or do you want a high limit? Like, because it's like on the same hand, everybody is not applying for a lot of credit cards. So I could see why you would possibly want a credit card that had a higher limit. So you really just have to take a look at
Yeah,
it. But to get the higher limits, sometimes you really can't, to me, apply for a whole lot of credit cards around that time because they are pulling your credit. If they see you have a
right.
lot of inquiries and then you're trying to get a lot of, credit line increases, that's gonna decrease your chances for it. And then also, because you already know with Navy Federal, I'm gonna say, the longer you have their relationship, to me, in my opinion, because I know some people might say you don't, but I know for sure myself, when I had first applied, I wasn't putting no money in my savings account. I wasn't putting no money in my checking account. I didn't have no direct deposit. And they barely approved me for 7,000. You know what I'm saying? But then once I started really creating a relationship, doing direct deposit, and I was getting other, credit cards and things like that, then that's when I ended up getting 20K, and
Yeah,
so, but I'm trying to get like you to get 80K on the Navy Federal flagship.
well,
Talk about it. How you getting
it
80K?
was well. It it also helped that I had at one time I had three cars. So
Okay.
I took I had 19,000 on the Go Rewards, and I transferred that amount over to my flagship and
Hmm.
canceled that card.
Okay.
So with the credit limit increases, the amounts that they gave me to go off top, you know what I mean? It wasn't very hard to do it, honestly. Like it really wasn't. They
Mhm.
made it easy because at that time they were giving you 8,000 every 6 months. So yeah, it was pretty easy to get to 80,000.
Yeah, see, that was pretty smart of you to especially let's say if you all Navy Federal cards are all Chase cards. I'm always gonna hit them up and see, okay, I'm thinking about closing this card. Can you move that limit onto another credit
Mhm.
card? Because I don't want to, lose that limit. And so I really think that that was pretty smart to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not giving up $19,000. I'd have kept it open if they wouldn't have did it. You know.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I was gonna say. Especially, you said that you had upwards of 50 or 60 credit cards. How do you feel closing credit cards. Talk about your strategy for closing credit cards.
Okay. A credit card stay, first of all, even when you close it, it stay on your credit for 10 years. Right? Like it's still on your credit report for 10 years. So it's not going to affect very much. So in that 10 years, as long as you managing your credit wisely, yes, when that 10 year come, it's going to affect your credit.
Mm,
7, 8 points, maybe 2, 3. Who knows? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
The more credit you have, the the more you manage your credit, the less anything have effect on it. When
Mm,
I apply for cars, there are times where nothing changes. I get a hard inquiry, but my score doesn't change at all.
right.
Or it changes 1 or 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
Because I manage my credit right, and on top of that, I'm I'm paying this stuff down, and yeah, the amount of credit that you have trumps a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Mm,
it do. Your utilization and the amount of credit that you actually have trumps all of that stuff. So I don't worry about hard inquiries or closing. Like I say, I'll probably close 20 cars.
yeah.
I'll probably close 20 cars. So
Yeah. But would you say, but I would say, especially once you're getting up to, let's say, a 750 and higher,
yeah,
I would say maybe a 720. Then I think, well, I would probably say maybe a 750. It's like then I'm not really thinking about no hard inquiries or, you know, closing a
no,
credit card. But I
no,
think you really have to consider your credit profile. And so I think that's why it's very important.
well,
Like he say, Mr. Do your research. That's why you have to take a look at your credit profile and see what's going on, because that's really what's going to determine, different things. But I want to give a shout out to my sister. She gave me a 1999 super chat. And y'all,
no,
she reminded me, you guys, especially since it's the beginning of the year, I'm not for sure what goals that you have, but y'all go and check out my Etsy shop. And on my Etsy shop, I have my digital budget planner. And so, especially with us talking about credit cards, I think it's very important to, do your budgets and things like that so that you can pay your credit cards off every month and stuff. And so the digital budget planner, it has a page to where you can do your monthly goals, like what goals are you creating for yourself for the new year. And then it has the budget, it has a debt repayment, and then it even has where you can keep track of your utilization, like when is your due date compared to your statement date. Because I love to, I had just talked about this, because see, I like to report to the credit bureau, but I don't like to pay interest. And so, that's how I can keep track of my all my stuff. So yes, if you want, go over to my Etsy shop and take a look at my digital budget planner. Thank you so much for the super chat.
thank you, sis.
Thank you for reminding me.
I gotta ask you a question about that, Tasha.
Hmm.
You say you like to report, but you don't like pay interest, and I understand what you're talking about,
Hmm.
but explain that more to the people that's watching.
Okay, I'll explain it, because you know what? I actually got a question about this because somebody had recently stated that they had paid all their credit cards off, and I want to say their credit score dropped 24 points. And so usually what I like to do is it's kind of like a two-part situation. One, if you're not reporting anything, then sometimes those banks can close the credit cards because they're feeling like you're not using it, and for you to have those credit cards open. Because was it Lisa or somebody was saying that they Bank of America had closed their
Oh,
card, and that happened to me. Bank of
yeah,
America had
20K.
closed two of my credit cards because I didn't have a balance on it. And I probably didn't have a balance on it for probably like a few months, 6 months or so. And then they just closed the card. And then one time when I had tried to apply for the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, they were gonna deny me because they said I had low usage on their other um Chase cards. And so I think that's why it's good to show usage, but I don't want to pay credit card debt. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to pay interest on my
Right.
credit cards. And so what I will do, I will just report usage. So I had just did a video the other day. Now I didn't necessarily mean to report no 43% utilization because for that for it was the Hilton Honor Surpass that only has a $9,000 credit limit, and y'all, I reported like what, $4,000, and but I've paid the credit card off, and so I'm not gonna pay interest on it, but it actually reported to the credit bureau, and right now it hasn't impacted my score. But really, you have to take a look at it. So most of the time, I'm gonna try to report 10% or less for my utilization, but it just helps. And it really depends on what are you trying to do with your credit, because it's like if you're really not trying to do anything with your credit, and let's say if you got a 720 credit score and it dropped 24 points, on the one hand your score is still a 700, and so it's still not that bad. You see what I'm saying? Or if you got a 750 and it drops a little bit, it's not that bad. But now on the same hand, if my credit score was a 650, then I want all my points. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my credit score to decrease. So that's why I'm going to be pulling my credit report to see what aspects are, making my credit score go down. So that's why I like to report, because I don't want them closing the credit cards. That's the number one biggest thing. And then when I'm trying to apply for the other credit cards, I don't want them to, deny me because they're saying that I have low usage.
Right. I feel the same way. Like for me at this point, like because of the amount of credit that I have, and also have a lot of I have charge cards and also have a lot of business cards. So I put a lot of spend on my business cards, and business cards are different because it's not about how much you report on them. It's about paying them with business cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
just about paying them. The
Mhm.
scoring system is different than personal cards. But
Yeah.
on my personal cards at this point, because I have so much credit, like I don't really pay attention to it as much. But when I
Yeah.
didn't have as much credit, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I would do the same thing. I would only report a certain amount, but I would make sure that I paid them for my due date.
Yeah.
One day, and this was probably like 6 months or so ago. I had I closed a bank account. This particular bank account, I was using it to pay my Discover card. Not even thinking about the Discover card at one time,
Mhm.
freaking thing. Like I said, I paid through time, so it wasn't that I didn't pay it. It was that there was still a balance on it, and it
Mm.
was like $7 in interest. Man, I was so hot about the
Dang.
$7.
But you know what? That happened to me before too. That
Yeah,
happened
I
to
was
me
so hot
with
about the
not.
$7.
Yeah, because it was what happened, it was my city card, and I done had that card for a million years, and I really don't use it that much. And so since I don't use it that much, like I'll sit down and do my budget, and then by a certain date, I done already paid everything off. But then what happened, a charge came in after I had, because I'll take a look at all the cards, even if I'm not using it, because I want to, just check it to make sure nothing came through. But after a certain point, I didn't even look at it anymore. And then I was in Walgreens, and I get a call from Citi, and they talking about, well, this card is late. I'm like, what? Oh my goodness. So it was $90. And then so it was $90. They charged me $30 for a late fee, and they had charged me
Ooh.
interest, right? Man, I caught them up so fast, and I was like, bro, no, man, I didn't mean to do it. You know what I'm saying? It came in late. Do you know that I paid the card immediately?
Right?
They reversed the $35, and they
Yeah,
reversed, it was like probably $3 or $4. It was under $10 of interest. They reversed the interest on it too.
yeah. You know what? Because you a good customer, and realistically, most good financial institutions are going to take care of their good customers.
Yeah.
They don't want you to take your money and go somewhere else. You know what I
Right.
mean? So they see that you paying it on time all the time. This was a mistake. You
Yeah,
know what I
that was
mean?
a
So
mistake. I was like,
yeah,
I didn't even have to really go all off into it. I was like, man, I didn't know. And then they gave me, and when they gave me the interest back too, I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. let's see, Bourbon Bubblegum said you could have used your Uber credit to get to the restaurant. But see, this is the thing, Bourbon. It was all the way downtown. So I would have probably, you know what? It probably would have still ended up being 30 or maybe more. So I wasn't really, I didn't think that went through. But this is the thing with my Uber credit, y'all. I use my Uber credit for food. Because it's like I don't Uber all the time, and so I'll use my Uber credit for food. So I'll go on to Uber Eats and I will order me some food and go from there. And so Chad said, Tasha, you already know, Chad. Chad said, Tasha, would you get the American Express Platinum card if it had 5 times dining multiplier and a $25 Uber credit in addition to the benefits that they have now? This is the thing, Chad. I actually like the platinum card, but you know what, y'all? I don't know what it is in my mind that make me not, like a $6.95 annual fee. Like I can't even get that out of my head. You know what I'm saying? And so let's see, five times dining, $25 Uber credit, plus all the benefits. I do think that it has some pretty good benefits. I think the only way that I would be able to do that is if I didn't have no other annual fees. Because see, this is the thing, and this is the question that I have as well, because especially with me having 14 credit cards, and then you having, you got what right now over 39. You got 39 credit cards. For me to be able to put spin on all those cards, and then especially to get the credits and all that kind of stuff, because let's say with my Chase Sapphire, let's say with my Hilton Honor Surpass, because it had the 15K spin to where you'll get the one night certificate. But it's like when I first got the card, I was trying to get the spin so that I could get the bonus. And then, I did, and then I had already got another credit card. So, I'm trying to get the bonus on that one too. So then I'll just move to another credit card. And so since I wasn't using that Hilton Honor Surpass, it was like all the way until the fourth quarter to where I was really trying to hurry up to meet that 15K spin. So it's just like, to me, since I'm trying to use all these credit cards, how can you maximize, all of the points and, with all of the multipliers and then all the bonuses that they have. So it's like, for me, I think that I would only have to have that one card. So it's like, if I gave up all my other cards and got the platinum, then I can maybe see it. I think that's the only way that I could possibly do that, because I would really want to maximize the card, because I don't really feel like, since I'm chasing the points, I don't feel like I always maximize some of the cards. What would you say? Do you feel like, since you have 39 credit cards, and especially with all those annual fees, how do you maximize all the points? And
it's very strategic. As far as the platinum card go, having a platinum card like your only card, it would be hard, because what I'm saying, like it's travel focused. You're getting 5x on airlines, and I don't remember. I think 4x on hotels. I don't know, if I don't book hotels with it. Like I would never book hotels with the platinum card on the strip, because I have hotel cards.
Because you would transfer it over. More points. Would you transfer it? So would you use your points?
Oh yeah, I definitely transfer my points, because I'm not above paying to fly somewhere, right? Like I don't always use points for everything. At some point we have to gain points somehow, right? So because we pay for stuff, so I'm not above paying for a flight. So if I do have to pay for a flight, it's going on the platinum, because I'm getting 5x on there. So I use that for that. But the platinum card, like, is a card that I never have the platinum card on me unless I'm actually going somewhere. Okay. If I'm not traveling anywhere and I need to get into an airport lounge, or I don't need it to show at the hotel because I'm using their Fine Hotels and Resorts program, I don't carry my platinum card on me, because there's no reason to carry it. I don't use it as an everyday card. But I think that because my spending is a little bit different than a lot of people, I look at credits differently. Like
Yeah.
I don't justify the card with credit. I
Mm,
justify the card as what I get out of it by its multipliers
yeah.
and the benefits of that card. I value airport lounges because when I travel, I want to go in there and eat and drink for free, right? Like I just do. I want to go in there and eat and drink for free. I don't want to be around everybody. You know what I'm saying? I want to chill. You got a stupid long layover. You can only go in there 3 hours before, but 3 hours is a long time to be hanging out inside of the lobby
I
in the
guess.
airport.
I
You
guess.
know, I can go in there and give me a couple old fashions, eat some eat some food. Airport food is expensive. you know, Airport food is expensive. You go in
Yeah,
there and eat
it
and drink
is.
for free. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just value the things different, and that's why another reason why I don't tell people which cars to get
Yeah.
because my spending habits are different.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I agree because it's just like I think you and I would say you and Chad probably fly more than me, and so it's just like I don't know that with my spending, how I spend, I don't think that the platinum is really for me right now.
right,
But I actually really do like that card and it has a lot of good perks, but it's just like I'm not purchasing a lot. Most of the time I'm using my points for, flights anyway,
right.
so that's where hold on, I want to man, y'all, we got so many questions. So that girl Shine said, could you explain the process on getting a business card with American Express and what should I expect? Because how
Apply,
many American Express what did you say? What
apply
did you
for it.
say? Yeah.
it's not
uh,
it's not very it's not very hard. If
yeah.
it depends on what kind of business you have though. Whether
Hmm.
you it depends on your business structure.
Yeah.
If you're a sole proprietor, you just put in your social security number and applying like
Hmm.
you apply for any other
Yeah.
card. You put
Yeah.
in your NCIS code and um yeah, and make sure it matches whatever business you have and go from there. If you have an LLC, you already know all of this information.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So it's not very hard. You just apply for the card pretty much like you would any other card, and it's a couple more steps. That's it.
Yeah, because I would say most definitely, especially depending on where you are in your business. So, like for me, I use my personal, information. So I use my personal information when I apply for I have the American Express Blue Business Cash credit card, and I put my, regular information in there. So I didn't have any problems. So just like what he's saying, one, you do want to apply, but then really take a look at that credit card and see what are the different requirements. Because like he said, you might have to put your EIN number in there, and then you'll have to put your LLC information in there. But when I applied where I'm at, I did not do that. And so I used my regular social, and then let's say, so that's what you would have to do in that regard.
Right. Yeah, because I have both. Like some of my cards are sole proprietor, like this YouTube channel as a
Yeah.
business. I do this as a sole proprietorship, but I
Hmm.
also have a LLC under the same name, Sledge Inc. You know, it's not Sledge Inc. Team, just Sledge Inc. But
Okay.
I and some of my cars are under my LLC.
Right.
So, but
Right.
it's still they at the end of the day, they're still going to take your social security number down.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, and they gonna check your personal credit to make sure that you legit. You know what I mean?
That's
So
it. That's it. Okay, so this is a good question. Desert Raider said, "Oh snap, Sledge, that's insanity." And then it says, "Still trying to learn the game to pay the mortgage on the credit card to get the rewards." The best I seen was pulling money off of the Navy Federal credit card and transferring it to the Gold card, and then I'll have to see where because it stops. Now, what I'll say, because I would say maybe 2 years ago, especially when I was really applying for a lot of credit cards, I would try to do that. And then, so there is a servicer called Plastic, but see, the thing is, they have a service fee, and so most of the time, I'm gonna be trying to get my, normal spend, but especially with your mortgage, being a because see the thing is, like, tell me what credit card I can pay my, like then you would really be racking up the points. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand you there. Cause even I try to do it when I have my car loan too, but some of the credit card issuers like Chase, like they put you can't even really do it with Chase because I tried to pay my mortgage through plastic with Chase, and they had it to where you can really only do it for $100 or something like that. And so you really have to figure out, they got it down to a science. Like they're thinking of every loophole and things like that because it's also going to depend. Is it American Express card? Is it a Discover card? Or is it a Visa card? And I would say with the Visa cards, it seemed like you can maybe pay a little bit more, but it gets real tricky with trying to, you know, pay, especially like your mortgage and things like that. But I want to say I tried it with my, I want to say if I tried it with my Navy Federal Cash Rewards card as well, but sometimes it really just doesn't work. So I don't know of any credit cards. I only know the credit card servers are plastic. And I have a few videos, but see the thing is, since you have to pay, it was like 2%. And so especially with your mortgage, that 2% go add up pretty quick, and so I try not to do that because if I'm trying to get the points, I'm not trying to eat up my points, with paying a service fee. So I
Right.
try to kind of stick away from that. But I think it would be great. Because John is saying Wells Fargo mortgage,
Yes.
bill allows it to be paid. So you have to have a Wells Fargo mortgage.
Right.
But I don't know about them Wells Fargo mortgages though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. John been paying his mortgage with Bill for a good while because
dang. And so he
Bill,
racking up on the points.
yeah, for sure. Wells
Mm,
Fargo distributes the Bill card.
dang.
Yeah.
OMG. Let me
But
see.
you don't even have to have a Bill card to use Bill service.
No, because it depending on your apartment complex, sometimes they might even use Built.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if not, you can check and see. Yeah, if you're not, you can check and see for sure.
Yep. So Desirator said these guys been a game changer for me in the past few months. Now teaching both my sons, Marine vets.
Let's
Thank
go.
thank your sons for their service.
Let's go.
Yes. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I wanted to you got a little bit more time?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, because we didn't get into this, and I think I'll have to find the question. But I wanted to get into PenFed versus Navy Federal Flagship. What would you say, PenFed over
Okay.
Navy Federal?
I would pick the PenFed Pathfinder over the Navy Federal Flagship card
Ooh,
for
why?
for travel.
For travel.
For travel, because they're if you think about it, they both travel cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're both supposed to be travel cards.
Supposed
Um,
to be.
the PenFed Pathfinder card they both give you global entry or TSA pre-check, right? Where PenFed gets over is they give you $100 airline credit every year.
Okay.
You can't use it to buy tickets, but you can use it for check bags. You can use it to buy stuff on the plane. You know what I'm saying? You can use it for seat upgrades. So you can pay with your points in order to say for instance you fly an American, you got American points. You can use American Airlines points, book your flight, sit in the main cabin, and then use the $100 or the portion of the $100 to upgrade your seats to another part of the plane.
Wow, really?
You know what I'm saying? So it's just that $100 just means so much because you have to be a PenFed Honors Advantage member. The thing is, in order to be an Honors Advantage member, only thing you need to do is have a PenFed checking account. That is it. There's no minimum requirement for the checking account. You can put $5 in that thing, keep it in there. You are an Honors Advantage member. They gonna on the website. I believe they said that you need to put in $500. You have to maintain $500 or do direct deposit. I'm gonna tell you right now that is not true. I've been an Honors Advantage member for 3 years. All right, for 3 years. Or if you have military service, if you have military service, there's a rater. There you go. The only thing now is PenFed has been ridiculously strict on approvals. If
Dang.
you are somebody who gets a lot of credit cards, it's a chance they're gonna deny you for that card. Like they've been very strict on approvals. But the good thing is they have a pre-approval tool, so
Mm,
you can pre-approve before you even go there. The
okay.
Navy Federal Flagship card. You already know how I feel about this card, Tasha.
Yeah.
Been paying for my Amazon Prime for
Yes.
3 years straight.
That's what I'm saying. I was trying to tell people that too, because I noticed that every year they were paying it. And the thing is, I called Navy Federal and even asked them, and they won't tell you. They will not tell
No,
you that they will give you. Now, let me ask you this, because I recently just got asked this question with the Navy Federal Flagship. When you let's say it's time for you to pay your Amazon Prime, how long does
yeah,
it take? How long has it taken for you to, you pay your Amazon Prime credit? When do you get the credit from Navy Federal? How long did
man,
it
like
take?
a day or so later, like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
quick, like mad quick, like
yeah,
super quick.
yeah.
As soon
This
as
time
that
it was a
payment
couple of
isn't pending
days.
anymore,
Yeah.
it's like they almost pay for it, like so quick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but let me ask you this. So, like, I would say the first year it was pretty quick, but it seemed like the second year it took maybe like a month. It
really?
took a little bit of time, but then like this last time, because I think I did a video on it, it was like back to back. It was like back to back.
Yeah, man. Because
Yeah.
I literally my membership just renewed, man, probably like shoot, a couple weeks ago.
My
And I
membership
don't even
just
know if it
renewed
was a couple
too,
weeks ago,
like
it
the
was like
other
last
day.
week. It was like last week. Yeah. And I got that 139 refunded. I'm like,
That's
yes,
it
sir.
right there. That's what I'm
There's
saying.
no
Like,
reason to ever cancel that card as long as you're paying for
that's what I'm
Prime.
saying. You never gonna catch me bad mouthing the Navy Federal Flagship, and you will
No,
not catch me even thinking about closing that card. It's no way. No.
no. Man,
Even though to me, it's not, in my opinion, I can only say this is my Tasha opinion. Because to me, it's not really a travel card, even though, yes, you get a credit for the TSA pre-check,
TSA.
or, or the global entry, but it's
Right.
just like on the same hand, that's the only thing. And then you get five
Well,
times the points when you purchase travel through
right.
them.
3. 3 times points.
Three
But
times the
that's
point.
just
Yeah,
it.
no. Yeah, it's three times the point. That one time they did have it to where you could get five times the points, but that's been a while ago. Yeah, so it's three times the points.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's another thing about the PenFed. PenFed Pathfinder is 4. It's
okay.
4x on travel.
Ooh, okay,
So
so that's better.
yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Life with John. Thank you so much for joining. He said, Sledge and Major Change, you guys rock. And he said up here that he watches our videos. So I thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Yeah, yeah, I know
For
life with John.
yes. Let's see. What else we got in here? Let's see. Dr. G says, I
Yeah.
wasn't aware about the flagship. I would have, yes. And see, look, let me tell you this.
You better
Let me
change
tell
it.
you this, Dr. G. Let me tell you. This happened to me last year. I think it was last year, because I had got the Chase Amazon Prime card, and they put it as your primary card. Y'all,
Mm-hmm. Gotta change it.
it was time for my annual fee to come up, and they had freaking posted it on that card. I was so mad because I was like, crap. So that was the only time that Navy Federal did not pay it, and that was because I didn't have it set for it to be the primary card. Y'all, I was so hot.
Man. Yeah. They everything changed. I think when I got well, I had the Amazon Prime card before I had the flagship, so I
Oh,
didn't
okay.
have to change it.
You didn't have to
But
change.
When I got the business prime, they switched my payment to the business prime, so I had to switch it back before
Oh,
it was
Lord.
time to pay. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the only thing that I would have to say is that you really have to make sure that it's not time for your subscription to be paid for Amazon Prime, and that the Navy Federal Flagship is not your primary card. So that's the only thing that I'll have to say. Now,
look,
I have one or two more questions for you before we go. So
yeah.
with Navy Federal, you have the Navy Federal Cash Rewards or Cash Rewards Plus?
Actually, I don't have either one.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. So
nope.
you,
I got I was gonna apply for it. I haven't applied for it yet 'cause I wanted $200. I want. I
yeah.
wanted. But the thing is, I'm at 80K, so I would have to. I would
Ooh,
have
you have to
to.
close.
Right. I would have to. Right. Find somewhere to cut back, or have them take some of my credit limit down in order to apply for that card.
Mm.
Because I'm not canceling my more rewards, and I'm definitely not canceling my
Mm-mm.
flagship.
Dang,
So
yeah. See, that's
yeah,
what I'm saying, because somebody just said, I hear that Navy Federal has good credit cards. To me, I think they have good credit cards, especially one,
yeah,
the Navy Federal Flagship is the only one that has an annual fee, but it's just like
yeah,
that Navy Federal more rewards.
yeah.
Man, I'm just
It's
like,
similar to the green card. Yeah,
yeah,
it's similar to the Amex green card. It has no annual fee. You still get Amex offers and all of that stuff on there. You just have to look for them a little bit deeper on Navy Federal's website. But man, listen, the Navy Federal is, if you need to do something with your money and you need credit, you need high credit limits. Navy Federal it's the guaranteed way to go. Because even if they don't give you initially the high credit limit, as long as you keep messing with them, you keep doing good business with them, they will get you, high credit limits. So yeah,
yeah.
Navy Federal's good.
Yeah, I want to say shout out to Dr. G. Said I finally hit the 850 credit score yesterday. Man,
Ooh, that's what's
congratulations to
up.
you, Dr. G.
That's
Man,
what's
I am
up.
I'm so happy for you.
That's
Look, I'm
fire.
trying. I think right
That's fire,
now
Dr. G.
I'm in maybe 764, I believe, the last time I pulled it. So,
I've never
um,
been higher than a 770 ever,
okay.
like ever. But
Let's see.
again, I get cards all the time, so it's gonna be hard. It is
Yeah,
hard for me to
yeah,
get that out.
yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
Let
Dr.
me
G with
see.
the $20 super sticker.
Oh, let me see. So Desirator said my next card is gonna be the more rewards. I would say, yeah, that more
Great card,
rewards.
bro.
That card is
Great card.
amazing. I would say that the Navy Federal Flagship and the more rewards, like for a
Mhm.
minute there, I could have got rid of every credit card I had and just used those two. But
Yeah,
now
you
that I
can.
have, yeah. And so I want to say thank you so much to Dr. G with the $20 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for giving the super chat. Thank you so much. Let's see. Before we go, I want you to tell everybody your where they can find you on your, on your platforms.
Man, listen, go to Sledge Inc. Team YouTube channel. That's Sledge Inc. Team YouTube channel. Like I say, man, I tell everything from personal experience. Um, I try a lot of things. I call banks. I talk to I talk to the reps at the banks, find out what they got going on. Because believe it or not, a lot of these guys would tell you, guys and ladies, they would tell you all kind of stuff about the rules and regulations on why people get denied or approved at these banks. And I try to get it out to the people. I personally I personally go through and try certain things that I wouldn't recommend other people to do, with my own credit, just so I can put it on the channel and everything. And that's why I have so many credit cards, because I don't mind taking the risk.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that tell you about a whole bunch of things that I don't really know about. We
Mm.
talked about pin fed credit cards today, and I had a person in my comments earlier today, because I've heard this before. They were saying that pin fed points were worth less than 1 cent, and that like I said, you had to have direct deposit in order to be a pin fed honor the advantage member. This is the reason why I do my own research and I try everything for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the information that goes around on YouTube is just regurgitated information that has been going around for years from one creator to another who don't know anything about what they're talking about. They just heard someone else say it. So,
Mm.
yeah, even myself or Tasha, anything that you hear on any of these websites, make sure that you validate it yourself.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. The thing is, I'm gonna try to make sure that I give the most accurate information. But like he say, this is Mr. Do Your Research. Like you have to do your research, and it's like I like to try things too, to see what I can and cannot do. But the thing
Yeah,
is, I only do that because I understand my credit profile and I know my credit score. But it's like
right.
if you're not understanding your credit profile and credit score, then you can't really do stuff. Like I like to
Right.
run tests, you know what I'm saying? Like
You have
you
to.
really, to have credit and to be able to, do things. But I think by not paying interest, that's just a start. And then you can really just try things out.
For sure, for sure, for sure.
Yes, most
Man,
definitely.
I'm glad you had me up here.
Yes, I'm so
I
glad to
am.
have you on the channel. Dr. G
Man,
said those
wait,
inquiries.
we got 50 people in here, man. We need to have like 100 likes on this
Uh-oh, how
video.
many likes do we have? Because that part I can't see.
I don't even know how many likes we have. We got
Um,
37 likes. We have 50
oh.
people in here right now.
Y'all hit the
What's
like
happening,
button.
man?
I'm so bad about, asking people to hit the like button. I usually
Hey,
don't say
listen,
it.
I don't mind asking you. Hit the like button. If you came over here for me, subscribe to the Major Change channel. You know what I mean? Man,
Yes,
let's
most
go, man.
definitely. Yeah, because I know
Let's
you
go.
brought some people over here. So I definitely appreciate you sharing it on your channel and you coming over here. Let's see. Desirator said, appreciate you guys. And Dr. G said, especially those inquiries. How many inquiries do you have?
Oh man, it depends on it depends on the credit bureau. See,
Hmm.
that's another thing. Like with me, okay, I don't keep a standard count on things, right? Like I don't keep a standard count because the inquiries that I have on my TransUnion are different than the ones that I have on Equifax, that are different than the ones that I have on Experian.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it, I don't know. It depends, and that's another way. That's another way that I'm able to get so many cards because I'm aware of when and what credit bureau that they pull from.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I look at what bureau that a card a bank pulls, and then I go and see what their rules are, and if I fall in between the guidelines of their inquiries, and then I'll decide if I'm going to apply or not. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it all depends. The same thing I say with credit scores. You know, you get a lot of people up here like, yeah, I got a 799 credit score. What credit score though? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it
Oh
Experian? Is
yeah,
it your
yeah.
FICO? Is it,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? Is
Yeah,
it your
yeah, yeah,
FICO
yeah.
8?
That's a good point.
You
That's a
know what
good
I
point.
mean?
Because is
Is,
it your Vantage score?
right. Is it your Vantage 3.0 score, your Vantage 4.0 score,
Yeah.
your FICO 10T, your FICO
Mhm.
10? There's so many credit
Yeah.
scores. And that's another thing that I never really say a standard credit score because there's so many.
Yeah.
And all these banks pull from different ones. I
Mhm.
didn't when I recently got a card from a U.S. bank. They pulled my FICO 10 score. That's the
Ooh,
first bank I've ever had pull
ooh,
FICO 10.
okay.
So yeah, you never, everything isn't standard.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like everything isn't standard. So
Yeah, yeah. I want to say, um, if you can go over to my Etsy shop and check out my digital budget planner. If you want to keep track of your budget every month or if you're paying down debt, it's just going to help you to be able to, keep everything. So let's see. But I want to give a shout out to Juan. Thank you so much for joining. I really
nah, man.
appreciate you. And then we had Bobby Bow. Thank you so much again for jumping onto the live. And then Mr. Travelon. is on. Thank you so
That's my
much.
cousin.
That's your cousin.
Yeah, that's my cousin.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for joining. And then I just want to give a shout out to everybody. I want to give a shout out to Chad. I wanted to give a shout out to you, loves to motivate. I want to give a shout out to John R. Jean came in the building. What up, Jean? Rod, my sister, Key, Lonnie.
Yeah,
Who else? Before the
Lonnie.
billions, Lisa. We had so many people. That girl
Yeah, so many people
Shine,
in here.
Desirator. We had so many people that
My
came.
dogs, they hate me.
Yes. We had a lot of people on the chat. I really just appreciate. Oh yeah, and then yeah, so they hate me just came in, and then how do you pronounce Rubio 84? Oh my goodness, thank you so much, because I know he comes to the
Well,
lives sometimes and he makes comments. And let's see, one more question before we go. So, like what John said, guys, one thing I learned is to never, one thing
no,
I
no,
say,
no.
guys, one thing
Many
I learned
payments
is
kill
to
you.
never miss a payment. I did it once and it killed my score. I was at a 705 and it dropped to a 620. And y'all, if anybody know this, I know this, because now what I like to do, I want to see if I have my let me see something really quick. Hold on, because I was gonna do a video about this the other day. Let me see if I have it. It's not gonna let me. Hold on, let me see. Cause see, I love to go on to the here. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to share in the middle. Can I share?
Okay.
Hold on, let me see. Um, do you have time? Is it? Are we okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So
Oh,
let's see if we can do it this way. Okay. So I really man, and it's on the payment history. Oh my gosh, you guys, like we could not make this up. Like this is great. This is so good. Okay, so I love to go on to Experian. And y'all, the good thing is, even if you have American Express, you can go through Experian and get the score ingredient. And so I love the score ingredient because it'll break down how are you doing of all 5 aspects of your credit score. So you can see here my payment history, because our payment history is 35%. My payment history is only good and it has been fair. But then you can see like my um credit utilization is exceptional, my length of credit is exceptional, my new credit is very good, and then my credit mix is exceptional. But then what happens is when you come over here, it'll break, you'll click on it right here and then it'll pull this up and it'll give you different aspects of it. And so you can see that I had 5 late payments. And so, but you can see my credit score is a 765, but I have high, my late payments over 30 days. So I have 5 late payments over 30 days, 6, and then 4 late payments over 60 days. And so, but the thing is, I haven't had a late payment in 3 years, 3 years and 6 months. And you see how my credit score is still a 765, but it's like I'm trying to get to like Dr. G to where how can I get to an 850? But the only way, because it's just like when you have a late payment, it messes your credit score up so bad,
so
and it
bad.
takes so long for your credit score to increase when you have a late payment on there. Now, the thing is, I did a cosign. So I did a cosign and then we were and so that's the reason why. And then we were kind of late on the, they were late on the payments, and so we've gotten into a good groove now. And so you can see here now, 3 years and 6 months, we haven't had no late payments. So we are doing really good here. But see, the thing is, even though it's been 3 years, you can see that my payment history is only good. And it really, like, if I didn't have those late payments on my credit score, I probably would be at an 850.
Right.
So it's just like, I would say, to me, I would say making sure that you paying the bills on time, that's going to be number one. But if you want to increase your credit score fast, I'm going to say to tackle your credit utilization. And so since I keep everything else, like with my credit utilization good, then I think that's what really helps my credit score. So it says Bobby Bo said late payments and credit utilization and increase affect your credit score. I would say inquiries hurt when you're trying to apply for credit. Let's say if you're trying to apply for credit, that's really what's gonna hurt you. But them late payments and that credit utilization,
Yeah.
man,
Uh,
that's gonna kill your credit score like no other. You
yeah.
know, so that's why I say making sure to the thing is, because it's a big difference between if you are paying it, let's say if you miss a payment, but if you still pay it within that month, it's not going to report as a late payment. You see what I'm saying? But if you
Right.
miss the payment and then it goes into the next month, then
It's
you
true.
let them report it to the credit bureau, and that's
Yeah.
what mess it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
You know what? Don't let that thing go 30 days.
Don't
Once
let
it
it go
goes 30 days, you are screwed. You can lose 80 points or more easy from one missed payment. So yeah, if nothing else, check to make sure all your things. We human, we can have a lapse. You know what I'm saying? Like we might miss something, but check in the month to make sure that all of your credit card bills are paid. Because you do not want that thing to go a month. If it once it goes a month, they're gonna report that, and yeah, it's gonna be serious points coming off.
Yeah, serious points. And then Juan said, I have 6 inquiries. I don't know what to make of it. Then
Good.
that's why they got denied for the Pathfinder. You think that's why?
Um, you know what? When I did I have the Pathfinder, but I did a pre-approval for the PenFed Platinum. Like they didn't say anything about my inquiries. They said more about my recent accounts.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. And PenFed they treat a pre-approval like it's a regular freaking application. They
Okay.
send you a letter and everything to tell
Mm,
you why you were denied the pre-approval. So you
okay.
get to
Even
know
if
all
you
that information.
so he really should try to do well, he already got denied though. So I don't know if he tried to do so you think it's best to do the
I think he got
pre-qualification?
denied on the pre-approval though.
Oh, he got denied on a pre-approval.
Yeah, the same thing Joe did. He tried to
Mm.
get it and he got denied on the pre-approval. But my problem with that is like okay, and because I'm never gonna tell you to apply for a card because I don't want you to get denied and it's on me. But I've done a pre-approval for City and I came up with nothing. I applied for the card, got it. I did a pre-approval on US Bank. They told me I didn't, qualify for anything. I
What?
applied for the card and got it. So,
Mm.
man, the pre-approvals aren't always 100%. A lot of
Yeah.
times they're not actually. You
Okay.
could pre-approve a card and get denied. So,
Or don't be like me and do the pre-qualification and then they say no and then you still apply for it.
anyway, Capital One.
And Capital One. But see, that's the thing. It's just like, how you just be trying stuff. And I was like, man, why would they deny me? They don't need to be denying me. They already said warning, warning. You were not even pre-qualified. And then my crazy self, I still applied for it like a dodo head. I'm just like, oh my God, man.
Oh my
Let me
God. Oh my
see.
God.
Dr. G said my utilization is less than 1% monthly. And it's like, Dr. G, mine is usually that. But you know what?
No.
Even with me reporting, mine is usually gonna be 1 to 2%. But even with me reporting on that one card, 43%, it only went up to 3%. So I was reporting 3%. And then yeah, he said he was denied on the pre-approval. And so I think,
Yeah, I figured that.
but it wasn't a hard inquiry though, right?
Nah.
Yeah, so that's good. I think that's good that they'll send you a letter and stuff. So that's really good. And then
Mm,
Desert Rider said, don't ever, ever, ever go 30 days and miss one
never,
payment by
never,
one day equaling
ever, ever.
31 days. Boom.
I
Goodbye,
agree.
60 points.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That's
And see
funny.
what Marquis said? Marquis said, I mean, as late, yeah, it been like that lately, because the thing is, when I have two cars with PenFed. And when I got those cars, it's not like I didn't have other cars, within that time span, and they still let me get them. But
Mm.
right now, you would think that PenFed is losing money or something. But I checked into them, and they've added 1.2 million members over last year.
Wow.
So yeah, I don't know why they're being so strict. Yeah, I don't know why they're being so strict.
Mm. That is crazy. Bobby Bo said, now
When is the
Bobby,
next
oh my
live?
goodness. Bobby said, when is my next live? Slash, when is your next live?
My next live is actually on Monday. It's my birthday celebration. Capricorn is Capricorn season, man.
Capricorn in the building.
Gold Gang is in the building. Yeah, that live is gonna be more about just having fun,
Mhm.
discussing whatever Q&A. Yeah, It's just gonna be a fun live and everything. But you
Yeah.
see, you know what they was really asking, Tasha? They didn't know what they were really asking
I know what
because
they
me
had
and
to
you are here together, man. They like this is a good combination.
ask.
This is a good
It's
combination.
good. That's what
You
I'm
know
saying.
what
We
I'm
don't want an hour and 40, and it's like legit. We probably could go another hour for, you know what I'm saying?
saying?
Because
Oh, for
it's
real.
like the
Hey,
thing is,
this is a good combination,
it's
man. They
a
feeling
great
this one.
conversation because I had some other questions on there, but it's just like, with the chat, man, they just so live. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah, for sure.
and so,
For
and then
sure.
it just keep going and going. And so, man, I really appreciate you. I'm definitely going to have you on here again. And thank you so much. I shouldn't have waited so long, but you know how, it's like for 2025, I'm definitely going to get more, consistent. And so, partly that's some of it because it's just like because somebody asked when is the next live. Cause just like on the one hand, like I'll go like 8 months and don't even do it live. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but I know you do a whole lot more lives than I do. And
And
so,
I try to do one every Monday. Man, I gotta look because I'm gonna be traveling. I'm doing one on the 6th. I think oh, that's right. Lisa is gonna do one. Lisa got one coming up on the 12th. That's my actual birthday. The
hmm,
reason I'm not doing it on the 12th is because I'm gonna be celebrating, man. I'm gonna be out in the streets, man. I gotta we doing a little traveling for my birthday, so I'll be out and
ooh.
about. But
Okay, so you're
yeah,
gonna do a
we
video?
may.
Because see, the thing is, we need you to do one of them videos. The last time for your birthday, now this was a while ago. Y'all had went to St. Lucia, right? And
Yeah,
that
yeah, me and
was,
my son.
yes, man. I really like that video because I'll tell you, the thing is, I really like what you were saying. One, make sure that, let's say when you go to the hotels, you always want to ask them for an upgrade. And I'm telling you, once you told me that, I did that because it's just like I was not asking. You see what I'm saying? And so
Yeah,
it's just, but then on that trip, y'all was able to get some round trip business class with your points and things like that. So I really like to see videos like that because it helps me to be able to show me how to use the points and things like that. And you know how, because it's like I really wasn't transferring my points too much. And then, you were talking about, transferring the points and things like that. And so that really works out.
yeah. I got two American Express 5 hotels and resorts credits that I had to use up, and I was saving them. So I saved them until to December, and I booked my trip. So I'm gonna be staying at. I'm actually gonna be staying at three. It's kind of like a road trip. So I'm actually gonna be
Hmm.
staying at 3 hotels,
Okay.
but two of them gonna be Amex 5 hotels and resorts hotels.
So they're gonna be
I guess
nice.
the week after next, somewhat. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So,
Okay.
but yeah, I
But you know what?
I I I, I put a little information up.
You put a little
I'll put a
information.
little videos up.
But you know what? Let me ask you this question before we go. Okay, so with the Hilton Honor Surpass, you know how so I spent the 15K and I got so they already sent me my certificate. So I have the certificate and I'm gonna be in with the Hilton Honor Garden. I'm gonna be doing the timeshare presentation, and I'm gonna get 50,000 points, and they're gonna give me a $200 certificate. If I
Mhm.
keep the Hilton Honor Surpass another year, can you use multiple certificates at one time? Can you have
Yeah,
multiple certificates?
yeah. You can use multiple ones at one time. Long as the property has to have award availability. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? So, but yeah, you can use them. You can use
okay.
more than one at one time. So,
Okay.
heck yeah, use them free night certificates.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
When I go to Japan in March, I'm actually using 3 free night certificates back to back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Then we moving on. We staying there for 2 weeks, so but I got 5 free nights at Marriott. I didn't want to use all of them, so I used 3, and then we gonna move to an Airbnb because it's gonna be 4 of us at that point.
Wow,
Yeah, it's
that's gonna be really cool. I want to shout out. Hold on, let me go on
key
here
back
right
in the
quick.
building.
Let me see. There you go. Let me see if I can get on here right quick because somebody asked
Hey,
me. Mm-hmm.
Melanie, looking for your
Yeah,
Etsy.
that's what I was going to. Let me put this one up from Chad. So Chad said, Tasha, I can show you how to transfer some points. Look, Chad, I need
That's
some
the
of them
thing.
points. He got all the
Listen,
points over there.
look,
That's the thing,
Chad,
Chad. I
Chad
don't
is
have no
the
points to
king.
transfer. He the king of points. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
he the king of transferring points
He
though.
the king of transferring points. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Melanie said, I'm in Etsy looking for your so here, let me show you. So here, let me see if I can move us down or move us over here. Okay, so when you go over to the Etsy shop, right here is the digital budget planner. Oh, I'm clicking it on the wrong one. So here is
See.
the digital budget planner here. So 4 people have it in their cards. So that is pretty cool. Yep. So that's the digital budget planner. Now, with the digital budget planner, you have to have good notes or a note taking app to be able to use the digital budget planner because basically it goes into good notes. And then that's how you're able to. I don't have my iPad. And then you write, with your iPad and stuff for the digital budget planner. Yes. So yeah, I really appreciate that. Let's see. Before we go, Key said, y'all killing it. What up, Key? And then Key said you can use multiple Hilton Night certificates. So that's I'm very excited about that because I'm gonna actually I'm gonna actually see about keeping the Hilton Honor Cert Pass. And so Davo said, I got a hack for y'all. If you have the Ritz Carlton card, can you add a authorized user and then they get the priority pass free?
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, they
Okay.
get priority pass too. But
Yeah,
that's pretty much. I mean, same thing with the platinum. If you got the platinum card, they also have priority pass as well.
that's cool.
Yeah. My
And
wife and my kids have priority pass through the platinum.
wow. The Jordan rules for credits. First time watching. Thank you
Oh
so
yeah,
much. I really
that's
appreciate
my
you.
dog right there, man.
Okay.
That's my dog, the Jordan. Hey, look, make sure y'all subscribe to the Jordan Rules for Credit channel, man. That's my dog right there.
You put his channel in there? Let me
I
see.
don't know.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can do it really quick. Um What do y'all think about this combo, y'all? Me and Sledge, we need to have.
What y'all think about
Look,
this
y'all. He's
combo?
talking about having
I'm telling you.
He's talking about having a show with Joe.
Oh yeah,
Me, me, Joe.
me, Joe Barreto, and Chaz Money Minutes, who is in the comments right now, is gonna be coming out with a new podcast called the Charge It to the Game podcast.
Oh
But
wow.
man, I'm thinking y'all feeling me and Tasha too, man. We can get something going to at least once a month. At least once
Yeah,
a
we
month.
might could do that. Let me see. Let me see if I can get his channel. There we go. I got your channel in there. And then Desirator says Sledge had a whiskey or two. That's cool. Wow. But no, y'all, thank y'all so much. But yeah, me and Sledge, we might have to have us maybe like once or twice a month, we can, rotate our channels or something like that. Cause man, I mean, Sledge, like,
Right.
honestly, you have so much information, and for real, Mr. Do your research, Mr. Do your, you got the most American Express cards I know. Well, between you and probably, well, you, Rod, and Key, I don't know which one of y'all got the most American Express cards. But I just appreciate you so much, and thank you so much for coming on the channel and taking your time. Man, we did almost went 2 hours, but I really just thank everybody in the chat for joining as well, and everybody for their super chats too. Because we had John R. Thank you so much for the super chat. Then we had that girl Shine 4.99. Thank you so much, and Chad. Thank you so much, Chad, for the 9.99, and my sister 19.99, and then that girl Shine again with the 4.99 super chat. Wow. And then Dr. G hit us with the $20 super chat right at the end. So y'all, I really appreciate y'all. I hope that the new year is starting off right and you think about your goals, because I'm gonna be posting some community chat questions, thinking about what are our goals for 2025. I think this is gonna be an amazing year. But thank y'all so much for joining. Sledge, thank you so much for joining. And I hope that y'all have a great rest of the night and a great weekend. And we'll see you next time.
You got one more. You got one more.
Oh, wait. I got one more. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, let me see. Right at the end. Desert Raider, thank you so much for the 4.99 super chat. I appreciate you so much for the support. I appreciate everybody for the support, no matter what. Yes. Big love, folks. Let's go for 2025. That's it right there. All love, baby. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining tonight. And y'all have a great weekend. Till next time. Peace out.